Hello, everyone. It's Thursday, July 25th. I appreciate you being with us. I'm going to start with something that's surely dear to my heart and really terribly sad. But yesterday we learned about, or just a day or so ago, we learned the passing of one of our heroes that I see lots and lots of times, and that is one of our coal miners. We lost Ashley Kogar, and she had had injuries, sustained injuries last week, and then we ended up losing her yesterday, I think. And she is the second fatality of 2024. She was working at Wyco's surface mine, and to be perfectly honest, usually we're reading about losing one of our coal miners from the standpoint of a deep mine. From the standpoint of a surface mine, it's not that often, but it's just terrible, and it's really, really, really terrible. And these heroes help power this country. They help. If they're producing metallurgical coal, it's going into making coke that makes steel that absolutely builds this country and builds the world. And so I just hate it. I really, really hate it for the family. And Kathy and I ask for your prayers. And it's tough when we lose a coal miner because, they get up, they get their dinner buckets, they go to work every day. They're the best of the best. They're craftsmen beyond belief, and they're really unbelievable at their trade. I mean, if you could see how they run equipment and how they perform their job, it is amazing. And so Ashley will be missed, and we want you to absolutely always remember our coal miners. They do so much for this great state and this great nation over and every day, every single day. We lost an athletic director at Marshall University, one of the guys in the past and everything, Bob Markham. I know Bob, and he did a great job, and we really do appreciate all the great work that he did for years and years, and he'll be missed. He was instrumental in Marshall, moving into Conference USA, and that was a big milestone for Marshall University, and so he'll really be missed. So remember Bob as well in your prayers. Now I'm going to go to stuff that's kind of much lighter, that's for sure. But today I'm announcing that the brand new Twin Falls Resort State Park splash pad is now open. And the project was $4 million in the upgrades, and Twin Falls, is not very far out of the town of Beckley, not very far from Pineville. It's absolutely beautiful, beautiful state park. And so we have Brett McMillian on, and he's going to talk to us and tell us a whole lot more about how the water is at Twin Falls right now. So, Brett, if you could come on, please.
Well, thank you, Governor, and welcome to the Lily Pad Splash Park at Twin Falls Resort State Park. And I tell you, when you look behind us, you can see these kids are having an absolute big-eyed time, Governor. We've got the squirting frog, the water table, the water cannons, the sprinklers, and, of course, the dumping bucket behind us. And, Governor, as I watch these kids, I realize that this investment that you made meets the mission of the park system perfectly by providing this activity for generations and generations to come. I think you can see by watching these kids behind me the fun that they're having. Governor, your investment in this bond project not only built this particular splash pad, it added a brand new golf pro shop at Twin Falls. Multiple other projects came out of that $4 million. We've still got more planned. There's a climbing wall to be added. The Nature Center is going to be revamped and moved up to the lodge area. The Falls Trail is going to see a boardwalk and some aesthetic upgrades to that trail also. But today we get a look at these kids back here just enjoying the benefits of these dollars and these investments and that belief that you have in tourism. So, Governor, I would like to share a message that the kids wanted to give you before we go. If we can get them to come on up, they've got a little something that they wanted to share with you. Governor, I don't know if you can hear him. There's a lot of noise in the background. Thank you. That's exactly. Exactly. So yeah, Governor, they're having a great time. We wish you were here with us. You'd absolutely have a ball. I know if you had those grandkids of yours here, they'd be right there in the middle of it. So thank you, Governor. We appreciate your support.
Before you go, Brett, tell those kids to all come over here. I got something I want to say to them.
Let's try again. Everybody come back. They're coming. They're not technically allowed to run. They're doing the fast walk. So come on. The governor's got something he wants to say to you.
Okay. Can y'all hear me?
Y'all hear me?
All right, now listen. I'm the governor, and I'm putting all of y'all in charge, but all of y'all have got to take Brett McMillian out there underneath one of those splash things and get him soaked for me. Okay? Now all of y'all are in charge right now. You take him out there and get him soaked, okay?
You've got it. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Uh-oh, here we go. I'm going to get him wet. Oh, they got him.
All right, guys. I saw that one boy blast him. That's good. All right, listen, y'all have a big time.
Thank you, Governor Justice, for this splash pad.
Okay, all good. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, y'all be good. Okay, Monday we celebrated an unbelievable thing in Weirton. We had a cannonball right to the stomach that I would refer to, 5 months ago, roughly, and when we all of a sudden we awakened to a ruling on tariffs on an international basis and everything. They were, the great people up there was 900 jobs. They were producing rolled tin that would go in for pop cans or whatever it may be. And all of a sudden, boom, an adverse decision in regard to tariffs, and that plant was out of business, period. Nowhere to turn. Nowhere to turn. In all honesty, I thought if it ever opens again, it'll take years and years. And so with all that being said, we just went to work. I mean, that's all there is to it. All of us went to work. Just what we do. Strap up our boots and absolutely pull the rope together, and all of us go to work. So lo and behold, we turn this knob, and Cliffs turns this knob, and others are all pushing in their way too. And lo and behold, an idea comes. The idea is retool the whole factory. Well, so often in this country now, we don't retool anything. What we do is we just take the jobs and move them to China or whatever, and move them to Vietnam, move them to Mexico, But this is a different story. This story is just this. We had to step up from the state, from economic development. Absolutely, they had to step up. And lo and behold, you have the retooling of a factory right there in Weirton, West Virginia, that's going to have 600 jobs with the hope that we'll have more and more and more. It's an unbelievable story. It's a great story. So on Monday, myself, and I'm going to probably fail in this, but Lorenzo Goncalves, and he's just sitting over there to the left, or to the right of me, but they made an incredible announcement. We were there in Weirton. We first cleared it through the EDA, and then on to Weirton we went, and you see a lot of happy folks right there. So unbelievable day, but to have 600 manufacturing jobs, that we didn't lose there in Weirton, that we'll have those folks back and try to build on it to even have more. Good stuff. Really, really good stuff. Okay, I want to announce, that our DOT is surely hard at work, and with the new $150 million supplemental budget that we just that I just signed in May, you see what they're doing. They're working night and day all across this state, and repairing our roads and just making things better and better for all of us. And so if you look at that equipment is relatively new, and they're able to do so much so fast. I mean, these people are superstars if you just give them something to work with. They can't go out there with a slingshot and be able to absolutely accomplish what they're doing right here, but what they're doing is the real deal, and we're really proud of them. And you see it everywhere. You see it all across this great state. You got to be as proud of them as I am, and I can tell you, and I don't say this braggadociously because I want to pass on accolades to everybody, but when I walked in this door, you couldn't get to the convenience store without tearing your vehicle all to pieces. And today it's a different animal, and we're just going to try to keep making it better and better. Tuesday, I was back in Wheeling, and I celebrated there with a group of folks that was really neat, really, really neat. These are the Women of Asphalt. Their organization was just created, this is the second year. It is a national organization, but these great women are involved in the construction industry across this unbelievable state. They were so good in so many different ways to all of us and everything, and we really, really, really enjoyed the day. I got to speak with them, and then we sat there and talked to many, many, many folks and everything, and heard of all the great things that they're doing. This building, I think, was newly renovated and everything. Beautiful, beautiful building, beautiful place to have this event and everything, and lots of really great stuff going on in Wheeling. As right now the new streetscape situation is going on right there. That was a really tough one. That was a really, really, really tough one to figure out how to do it because of all the lines running underneath the streets and everything had to be engineered to the hilt, and it was a tough one to figure it out, but we got it finally, and absolutely that city and those folks have been wonderful to me from day one and everything, and it is an absolute booming area with so much potential and opportunity. It's off the chart. We want to keep on doing good right there. And so great day in Wheeling. Okay, from August the 2nd through the 5th, we're going to have our sales tax holiday. So you can pick up lots of different stuff, clothing items or, computer stuff, all supplies for school, going back to school. Take advantage. You'll save a few bucks and everything, but that's from August the 2nd through August the 5th. We're one of, I think, there's less than 20 states in this country that does this and everything, but maybe it helps out a little bit, and that's good stuff. Maybe you can buy a few more supplies, and our kids need them. We just added another Almost Heaven swing, and that is at Snowshoe Mountain in Pocahontas County, and so now I think that puts us up to 26 of these. The kids over in Nicholas County and the work that they've done is off the chart. I mean, that's all there is to it. It is terrific, and now it's become a tourism destination where people want to go and they get their pictures on. If they can go get to all the swings and everything, it's really special, and so we just love it, and we congratulate those talented students and everything for all the great work that they do, and they make us look good. That's all there is to it. I guess I'm trying to get straight on the days, but I think it was last night or night before last and everything. I had the opportunity, I think night before last, but I had the opportunity to go over to the Greenbrier and ride around on my golf cart and everything and go to different receptions from different states. There was senatorial folks and folks from the legislature there, from West Virginia. West Virginia had their thing going on. I went by there and I got down to Tennessee. I'd seen some Alabama folks before that. And then I went up to Case Mountain and everything and saw the Kentucky folks and everything. And we just, all I wanted to do was to make them welcome to this great state and tell them, how much we appreciate them and how proud we are of them. And I know they were doing some different things, across the state and everything, but it was really enjoyable to be with them. And the last thing is I want to remind everybody again about your application at Twin Falls in regard to this once-in-a-lifetime archery hunt and everything. And somebody will be drawn to be on national TV with Whitetail Frenzy, so take advantage. I've told you about that before, and that's all I've got. We'll take your questions.
All right, thank you, Governor. We'll now take questions from members of the media. First question today, Mark Curtis with Nexstar Media.
Governor, good afternoon. Good afternoon, fellow reporters and staffers. Governor, I'd like to get some clarity on the situation involving Mark Scott, the soon-to-be departed Secretary of Administration. Is he leaving because there was a concern about a political action committee he was running while also being a state employee? And is that potentially an ethics violation? And or was some of this related to him being one of the people who voted to put Baby Dog in the mural? If you could kind of give us the details to the extent that you can. Thank you.
Oh, gosh. Mark. Oh, my goodness gracious. I cannot believe Mark Scott asked me if Mark Scott was one of those that voted to put Baby Dog in the mural. I mean, do we not have something better to do in life? I mean, really and truly, I'll take a magic marker and go up there and mark her out if that's what you want. But really and truly, all of us have enough sense to know that's not Baby Dog, But we just put an English bulldog in the mural and everything. Surely people were doing it just to think it was a nice thing to do. They'll probably be over the years, there'll probably be tens and tens of thousands of people that will walk up there and see that wouldn't even take time to do it and everything because they think that that's one of Baby Dog's descendants. I mean, do we not have something better to do? But really your question primarily, Mark, was about, about Mark Scott. And was he doing something that was ethically not correct and wrong? All I can do is tell you just this. My chief of staff came to me, and that's Brian Abraham. And Brian said to me, we may have an issue here, and what do you want us to do, and how do you want us to handle this? Because there is a possibility here that Mark Scott was doing stuff on government time that was basically the solicitation of some campaign funds and campaign dollars. I said, get to the bottom of it. We don't do stuff like that. No, we don't. And so I said, get to the bottom of it and get to the bottom of it right now. And so Brian basically went up and said, Mark, is this true? Because basically what happened was, 2 or 3 people came to Brian and said, this is what Mark had done. We get to the bottom of it. We went up, presented it to Mark. Here's what Mark said. Mark said he thought he was doing it exactly the way it should be done and exactly by the book. But, and Mark I think a lot of, I think he thinks a lot of Brian. I know he thinks a lot of me. And what did Mark do? He said, look, I'm not going to cause the governor embarrassment or a problem. And really and truly, if I've messed up and I've crossed the line and I should not have done this and whatever, then I'm going to resign. And so he resigned. That's the end of the story. That's what was reported back to me. That's why I said that I believe that he got out probably over his skis and maybe messed up and everything. But with all that being said, I wish him the very best. And I think Mark Scott's a good man, and I wish him the best. And we've replaced him with, his interim, and that is, John McHugh. And so we'll move forward. That's what we do.
All right, thank you, Mark. Next up, Stephen Adams with Ogden News.
Yeah, Steve Adams with Ogden Newspapers here. A couple quick follow-up questions. When was that meeting with Mark Scott? Did that occur last Monday? Also, I know I've sought the letter of resignation from the Department of Administration. Brad McElhenney with Metro News, who is not on this briefing for whatever reason, also requested it through your all's office. Will you all release the letter of resignation from Mark Scott so that we have it? And just also, it is the end of this month when that official resignation takes effect. Correct.
Stephen, I didn't get the very last part of your question. You said, would you release the letter of resignation, and then there was something else. No, you're on mute now.
Yeah, just double confirming that his resignation takes place at the end of this month.
Okay, Stephen, I think I've got it, but to the best of what's been told to me, the meeting was last week, and he immediately said he was going to resign. And yes, the last day will be July 31st, and absolutely without any question, we'll release the letter.
All right, thank you, Mark. Next up is Beth Sargent with the Gazette-Mail.
Hello, Governor. Thank you for taking my question. My question is about the Capitol mural project, but I was wondering if you can comment on any updates you've been giving on the remaining murals that are going to be installed. Do you have an updated timeline? Do you know if there'll be an opportunity for the public to view and comment on the renderings before they're installed? Any sort of comment you'd like to give there? Thank you.
All I really know is that they'll be installed before the end of the year. I'm not involved in this at all, but at the same time, I am involved on one aspect, and it's just this: how long have we been waiting to have these murals put up? How long? I mean, years and years and years and years, and really and truly, we're doing it, and honestly, I would be thinking that what we ought to do is we ought to be celebrating something that we weren't able to do for a long time. But I found the money to do it, and I told them absolutely, let's do it. Beautification of this incredible Capitol is off the chart, and so we want to do that, and really and truly, from the aspect of baby dogs, long lost ancestors and everything in the thing, and just sitting in the background in her little way there and everything. I thought it was cute, and to be perfectly honest, baby dog has drawn a lot of attention to this state, and I think it's great. But at the same time, if we want to go up there and tear them down, we'll tear them down if that's what people want to do. I mean, it's silly. That's all there is to it.
All right, thank you, Beth. Next up is John Mark Shaver with West Virginia News.
Good afternoon, Governor. Checking in again, I asked this question last week, but do we have a firmer date for the special session to talk about the personal income tax cuts later this year? Thank you.
No, I appreciate the question and everything, because it's a great question, and it's the question that absolutely impacts all of us across this great state, the voters in every way. And we're working with the legislature right now, and we've been working. We don't have a firm date yet, but we'll get that real soon and everything. A lot of people running a lot of different directions right now on vacations and everything else under the sun. So we just don't have it firmed up, but we'll get that real soon. And you're splitting the bullseye there. And look, that's why I get frustrated about about our focus at times on things that don't mean anything. I'm a big picture guy. I want to focus on things that mean something, and really and truly there is nothing, zero, nothing that will drive economic development to this state like absolutely the reduction and the elimination of our state income tax will do for West Virginia. Now, I've got us on the pathway, but we got to have enough guts to absolutely do everything we can possibly do to keep the pathway going and keep the pathway really moving. Or what's going to happen is we're going to awaken to half the states in the country, don't have a state income tax, and then we're going to be sitting there twiddling our thumbs wondering, well, what about us? West Virginia is leading the way in so many things right now, it's off the chart. Now, absolutely, let's absolutely wake up. Wake up to the fact that we know what it's like being dead last. We had that down pat for decades and decades and decades. Now, we almost don't know what it's like to be ahead. Maybe we don't even want to be ahead, but our voters and our people deserve it. They absolutely deserve it in every way. Do you remember at the National Convention when I said, the question was really simple? I said it 2 times. I said it, why does Donald Trump keep taking all the abuse day after day after day? Why does Donald Trump absolutely take the senseless persecution? I said, and I paused and I said, because we're worth it. You see, that's my line. That's what I've said over and over and over. At the end of the day, I said it twice there. But at the end of the day, absolutely, why in the world do we try with all in us to lower the state income tax? Because we're worth it. This state is worth it. And the great people of West Virginia absolutely are worth it. That's what we should be doing. Your question is the very best question because it centers around what is the most important. In my opinion, in Jim Justice's opinion, it'll never change. West Virginia is the greatest state. I started off that speech, by saying that we were the great state of West Virginia with the greatest people on the planet, and then right behind that, what did I say? Come and give us a look and come and see for yourself. I'm telling you, your question splits the bullseye. You'll have a date real soon, but then we've got to get our legislature to go along. We've got to have them to go along. We have vetted this within, the Department of Revenue through and through, and absolutely it's as safe can possibly be. We need to move forward.
All right, thank you, John Mark. Next up is Amelia Nicely with West Virginia Watch.
Hi, Governor. Hi, everyone. Governor, I was wondering, can you share an update since the May special session on whether the Department of Human Services has restored funding to the IDD waiver program and if they've increased those reimbursement rates for workers who help this population, since this was something that you had called on for that special session.
I think this, that you're going, you just got to stay tuned just a little bit longer and everything. But I think you're going to see some new news come out in regard to IDD and funding for folks that are very, very deserving, and funding in a better way. And I think you're going to be really happy about that. But don't forget this. How long did we have that wait list? How long did we have the list for the IDD waivers and all that kind of stuff? How long did it just sit there and sit there? We got rid of it, didn't we? So there's no one in that camp any more than me. So we just want to continue to run the store as best we possibly can. And, there's need everywhere, every single place and everything. And so we want to be sure that we don't get ourselves out over our skis, and so at the same time, I think you're going to see some really good stuff happen there.
All right. Yeah, thank you, Amelia. Next up is Curtis Johnson with WSAZ.
Hey, Governor, great to be with you this afternoon. Thanks so much for taking my question. Just a bit of clarification with regards to Mark Scott's resignation. Number one, did your office or you ask for his resignation? And then number two, given its relationship to this political action committee, he was announced as the leader of that committee back in February. The election was in May. Why did it take so long for this to come forward?
Curtis, I can't answer why it took so long. When it was brought to my attention and everything, I think people want to take time to do the proper investigating and all that. And so, when I was brought up to speed in regard to, what was going on or what was possibly going on, that was made, information came to me from Brian Abraham, and then there was some more, I guess, vetting, and then the question came back to me is, how do you want us to proceed? I said, go and absolutely get to the bottom of it. As far as us asking for Mark Scott's resignation, I do not. Now, I wasn't in the meeting, but I do not think that was came up that way. I think basically, what happened was exactly what I just said. We brought up the concern, and why was the concern brought up? Because 3 or 4 different people, or 2 or 3 different people, had come to Brian Abraham and told him what their story of things that were going on and their concern. He came to me. After putting together information and everything, he came to me. Then I instructed him on what to do. He went to Mark Scott, and then when he went to Mark Scott, what did Mark do? Mark said, look, and I can't be more truthful. I think Mark Scott's a good man. And what he did is he said, look, if I've done something that could cause the governor, embarrassment, if I've done something to where, I thought I was doing it exactly how it should be done. I mean, for crying out loud, guys. I mean, you have people that make mistakes maybe. And so at that point in time, before we could go any further whatsoever, he said, I'm going to resign. And so he said, I've got plenty of things that I need to do and can do and everything. I'm going to resign. And so that's what happened.
All right. Thank you, Curtis. Governor, back to you.
No, I thank everybody, and I welcome your questions and everything. I entrust, and I mean this, and all of you know this. All of you know this. The one thing that I absolutely will go to my grave with is I want to be fair. I want to be fair, and if it gets to the point in time when things are totally absurd and totally ridiculous, fake news stuff, and everything, and it just goes on and on, won't stop and everything, then we got to go a different direction, you know. But I'll be as fair as a human being could be. You know, there's been times when all of you have asked me questions and that have been tough questions to answer. I'm good. But, you know, when there's a real live bias and it just goes on and on and on, we got to go another way, you know. But listen, I think the world of you. I have told you that many times, and that's where I'm going to stand. So, you know, you don't hear me just beating the drums and screaming, this is fake news, this blah, 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 blah. You know, I don't do that. But at the same time, you know, when you have incident after incident after incident after incident, and you know, and in most all situations in the era, then you got to move on, you know, so we move on. Anyway, nevertheless, I thank you, and I appreciate your questions with all in me. God bless each and every one of you, and let's just keep West Virginia moving in a great way. Let's get rid of our personal income tax someday. Let's absolutely get rid of our personal income tax someday. Let's quit beating on whomever it may be, you know, and absolutely let's keep moving this state forward. There may not be the biggest news every single day, you know, but I'll promise you this, for 600 folks that are, or families that are in the Wheeling or the Weirton area, that's a big deal. You know, absolutely, with all in me, you know, from a standpoint of those wonderful women, the ladies of asphalt, you know, and what they're doing, you know, all across the state, it's a big deal. You know, y'all know what the big deals are. You know, this situation with Mark Scott, you know, if what Mark was doing was not right or ethically wrong, I'd deal with it. You know, that's what I do. And so, but the biggest deal that we can somewhat get across the finish line in this state is giving the people's money back to the people. Because at the end of the day, it's their money. So nevertheless, I thank you a bunch. Thank y'all.